This program contains adult content.
Is there a God?
Big atheist.
Really?
What am I, an idiot? Come on.
That yes, it would be nice if you could throw your sins and your responsibilities on someone else. But it's not true.
It looks like far-left lunacy.
I don't believe that it's true that religion is moral or ethical.
You don't need to follow anybody!
It's not human intelligence!
If someone doesn't value logical consistency, what logical argument are you going to give them that will demonstrate that they should?
Welcome to the Godless Rebelution. Today is Friday, December 15th. This is the Hitchmas episode. It is 185.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Today's December 15th, so that means it's Hitchmas.
Deck the halls.
Yeah. Well, I might be a little inebriated.
Because you've already been celebrating the Hitchmas.
Yes. Pre-show, I had some Black Label blended Scotch whiskey Johnny Walker, and feeling pretty good.
He's got those rosy cheeks.
They're always rosy, but when I drink, well, I'm sure you guys have noticed, I get like really red when I drink.
Extra ginger.
Extra. I get extra when I drink. But extra gingery. Matt is not with us tonight. You've got me, Dan Ellis, as always. And,
well, I'm here.
That guy with the mustache and
I'm pretty fucking important.
The glasses.
Yeah.
It's the first time I saw the mustache in person tonight.
It startled him.
And I just started laughing.
And mind
it caught me so off guard.
I'd already been in the room for about 5 minutes, and then finally you looked over and laughed.
I hadn't looked at him. I mean, I was just like conversing with him. He was like right beside me, but I hadn't actually turned to look. And I look, and here's this like squiggly thing kind of curling up, and I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah, the first two words were, oh shit. I haven't seen that thing in person.
Yeah, that thing.
Referring to Ryan's mustache. Yeah. So we do have Mr. Grant Larimer, the Purple Dragon, in studio with us this evening.
Hello.
How are you, sir?
I'm good.
Thank you very much for coming over tonight.
Yeah, of course.
To chat with us and guest host and stuff.
Happy to sit in anytime.
You are fantastic, because I can contact you like the night before
and you're here.
Yeah.
Because Dan knows I have no life. So
I'm like, I think he's done
absolutely nothing else going on.
I think he's done like tearing up floors and shit in his house.
Yeah.
So
that was fun.
Yeah. What have you guys been doing over the last week?
Fucking work.
You've been fucking work?
Work's been fucking me.
Oh, yeah?
Well, it was as we know, or as we know.
Do you at least get a reach around? I mean,
no, it just fucked me hard.
Will you turn me up a little bit?
Yeah,
I think I'm a little.
You were peaking a little bit there.
I was talking a bit louder.
Yeah.
Before
we're recording.
That's the Black Label.
Yeah.
We're recording on Friday, which means this last week is my shift change.
Uh-huh.
So I was a 6 day straight.
Right.
Yeah.
So you've been working.
Well, trying to fight off.
Oh, you're working today.
Trying to fight off insanity because it's wintertime on a base in the desert. So there's no wildland fires. There's no one out there doing training right now. So it's just fucking sit on your ass. And
oh, yeah. Winters have got to be pretty slow for you guys.
Very slow. There almost nothing happens in the winter out there unless someone slips and falls.
Yeah.
Are any of your people going to California?
No, we're actually working with an idea with DOD to where we can be outsourced to work fires. Right now, we're not allowed to. We can't go.
Oh, okay.
But they're working something where, hey, if something major is going on, a big fire, and we got guys that can go, and we got equipment that can go, and we don't need them where we're at, they can send us TDY to go work the fires. But our department's small. I mean, we have.
But wait, you said there's nothing to do as a firefighter unless somebody slips and falls down. Like, do they set on fire when they fall down in the desert?
No. Well, we also run medical.
Oh, okay.
So we run on all the medical calls as well.
Ah, that makes a little more sense.
Yeah. So we don't just go on fires. We go on medical calls, people having heart attacks, People just straight up.
What's that term for combustion?
Spontaneous human combustion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that before?
No, I don't believe in it. I don't.
You don't think that's a thing?
Well, there's the weird phenomenon which people haven't been able to explain, like how the fuck did this guy's body just burn up? Like he doesn't smoke. What's the cause? It's weird, but how does your body get to the temperature it needs to just self-combust?
Mm-hmm.
It's not like hay can self-combust because of the moisture and it heats up when it's decaying, but your body doesn't just do that.
Well, because of the quantum mechanics of indeterminacy, part of their being was transmitted into the alternate universe and touched by God's finger and instantly ignited them.
See, and my thought was part of the other universes that are out there accidentally cross over into our universe, and if they cross over at just the right time and you cross over into yourself, you just combust.
Oh, so it's like matter, the same matter can't
occupy the same space.
Yeah.
So it has like a weird vibration.
The
and
time cop.
Yeah.
Parody, yeah.
Well, it reminded me of the
parody, but
I think it was the season finale of the Orville. Do you guys watch the Orville?
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
that was good.
I don't think
with the planet that was the
aging like
its
400
orbit.
years.
Yeah.
Well, its orbit was somehow
morphing in and out of two different universes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
even though like 11 days would pass for them, but when it would come back, it would disappear and come back in 11 days. But for the planet, it was 400 years.
Yeah. And
just kind of a ripoff of a DS9 episode, but I won't go there.
But I like the religious aspect that episode followed on it.
Oh well, yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, well, because the first mate or whatever, which is kind of funny because she was kind of his first mate, but it was,
was it really his first mate?
Oh, I don't know, maybe
they mated.
Yes, they were.
Until she mated with someone else.
They were entangled. Yeah, until she had sex with the blue Rob Lowe.
Yes.
And he squirted
with some kind of hormone
stuff out of his head.
On.
Yeah. But no, because she went to the planet and like fixed that little girl's cut on her head or whatever. And because of that, a whole religion sprung up around her.
Yeah, because the first time she went there, they're like a Stone Age culture.
Yeah, well, it was like Bronze Age. Yeah.
It was a very early on.
Bronze, yeah. They were wearing clothes and using tools and
It was an agrarian society.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then she does that and then disappears, and so all these fables go up and the religion starts around her, and so when the planet comes back around, there's this it's a regular religion. Yeah. Well, it was 11 days for the crew of the Orville, but for the people on the planet, it was 400 years or 700 years.
But
I think it was 700 years. And so this religion had sprung up around her, and she tries to fix it, and it just made things worse. And they come around again. And, yeah, it was interesting.
Do we want to ruin it?
Spoiler alert! We're giving a little bit of spoilers, but we won't throw away the ending.
To prove whether or not at that age, at the second age, to prove whether or not the goddess, whatever her name was,
Kelly,
Kelly, whether Kelly had favor on you, they would cut you, and if your cut spontaneously healed, then Kelly had favor on you.
Otherwise, you would bleed out.
Otherwise, you would bleed out and die.
Yeah.
So it was kind of their version of the witch trials.
Yeah.
Of drowning a witch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If she's, but theirs was kind of the whole witch thing was kind of backward, right? Because if she drowns, then she's not a witch. Yay.
Yeah.
If she doesn't drown, then she is a witch and burn her.
Burn her at the stake. Yeah.
So she's going to die either way. It's just,
yeah.
Will her name
really
be tainted forever? Or, right. But yeah, that was interesting. What have you done over the last week, Mr. Dragon?
Oh, Christmas shopping and work and home renovations and things. It was a little more than a week ago, but one of the interesting things I've done lately is, I was invited to a first year high school computer science class to talk about the industry, talk about my experience as a software engineer, and things like that. And that was a lot of fun. And my God, the setup they have at least at Skyline High School here, it's incredible. I mean, I wish I had something like that when I was growing up.
Oh, yeah.
It was, they have.
Well, shit, when we were growing up, computers were just really coming about.
Yeah, I mean, they were just barely, they were nascent.
We thought we were cool shit when we had the old Macs.
Yeah.
There was just the tower with the floppy drive in the front of it.
And now they have brand new Macs with like two dual 32-inch monitors for each kid.
Oh, wow.
It's incredible. But the kids had submitted a bunch of questions ahead of time, for me to answer when I was there. There were some fun questions there. Well, so like one asked about women in the industry and whether it was accepting of women, and having daughters, that was kind of meaningful to me. Cause I've never worked like big, like Google, Facebook, like the big industries. So I don't know what the environment is like there, but I've never seen anything in any software job I've had where women have been discouraged from applying. We just don't get a lot of applicants. So, I kind of want to push that a little bit. One kid asked, could you install a virus on a laptop that would make the laptop blow up? And I'm like, you might want to watch.
Maybe not blow up.
Keep an eye on this kid.
Well, if you install a fuse and some gunpowder in there, and
but I mean, think about the Samsung phones. I mean, they practically blow up. So I mean, the batteries certainly have enough power in them to cause some damage, but. Yeah. I didn't have any specific answers for him. I don't think the teacher would have.
Yeah, actually, I've written that before. Here's the code.
Yeah, I know.
It's like, well, that's unethical coding.
I mean, the reality is, if that's possible, somebody's put it on the internet. So if it is possible, it's been published somewhere. Pretty much everyone wanted to know what's the best language to learn out of the over 100 software languages.
English. We're in America, Grant.
Did you recommend Java, basically?
No. Actually, what I told them was, and in my opinion, while I understand why they were asking that question, it's the wrong question to ask.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be asking what language you should be learning. You should be asking yourself, what am I passionate about in the software engineering field? Whether is it gaming, mobile development? Is it artificial intelligence? Robotics and drones, what gets you excited, and then what languages is that aspect of the industry using? Because Java or C#, they're good languages to learn. You'll pretty much be guaranteed a job. But if you want to go into robotics, probably Java isn't going to help you as much as learning assembly. Or learning C or some of the lower, or even just
scripting language or something like Python
or something like that. Yeah. So really, you don't want to tie yourself down too early with one language, because you'll limit your job prospects. Find out what you're passionate about, and then find out what technologies they're using.
Yeah.
So that was kind of my answer.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. And then the other point would be, once you learn one computing language, they're all fairly similar, so it's easy to learn other languages.
Yeah, and it is to a certain extent, but there is and this is one thing I kind of pointed out at the time too, is that if you don't know what that passion is, stay as low level as you can. Because languages have different levels. There are high level languages like C# and Java. There are mid level languages like C++, C, Objective-C, things like that. There are, and then all the way down to the lowest level, which is assembly language. It's a whole lot easier to go up than it is to go down. A Java developer or a C# developer would have a much harder time learning C++ and some of the intricacies of it than it would be for a C++ person to learn C#.
Yeah.
And same thing with, going from C# down to assembly. Or I kind of equate it to, it's easier for a stick shift driver to jump in an automatic, a lot easier than an automatic driver can jump into stick shift and just start driving. So not that it's impossible, it's just easier. So if you're not sure what you want to do, stay low, stay at the assembly language, stay at the C++ until you find the technology you need to know, and then work your way up from there. So
No, those are all fantastic points.
So it was a good time though. It was fun.
Yeah. Well, that sounds fun. I would have liked hearing you give your little presentation. How did you get lined up with that gig?
A friend of a friend. The teacher of the class is a drinking buddy at Piper Down of my buddy Tim.
Oh,
and
nice.
They were talking, and the teacher was like, "Yeah,
This is Tim of Tim and Kelly.
Yeah, Tim
nice.
and Kelly.
Yeah, I like Tim.
That's a good TV show.
Yeah, it's a rave reviews. Yeah, and they were talking once, and the teacher said, Scott, I think his name is, said, yeah, we tried to get different people in from different software engineering industries, and Tim's like, well, I've got my buddy Grant, who's a software engineer. So yeah, it just kind of went from there.
Woohoo!
So, and if he thought I did a good job, he said he might have me back in future classes, which would be fun.
Very cool, man. Laying down some knowledge for the younger generation.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
You're going to be Professor Grant here soon.
I don't know. I feel kind of substandard because, I mean, I've been doing this like 25 years, but it's not like, I've created, I haven't like created Facebook or like revolution, self-driving cars or put rovers on Mars or shit like that. I mean, I do kind of business automation and, web-based business applications and things like that. It's kind of mundane stuff compared to what a lot of software engineers do sometimes. So.
Oh yeah, well, but I mean, how many Googles or Facebooks are there, right?
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
I mean,
there are millions of people who work in the industry who help support those businesses, who help get them to where they are now and keep them running, keep the lights on, keep making that product better and better and better all the time, but they're not the ones who had the initial idea and even the people who had the initial idea, they didn't do all of that by themselves. I mean, they had a whole supporting cast of other developers.
Oh, sure.
People that they worked with, so.
And I think you just made your phone send a text.
Did I?
When you said, and Google, when you said Google, your phone opened up and started doing something. Like it looked like it started typing whatever you were saying.
Oh, yeah?
And I don't know what it did with it, but that was kind of.
It probably did a little search or something. Yep, it did. Yeah, it's Google our Facebooks are there, and it said, here you go, and it gave me a link to Facebook. So awesome. Thanks, Google.
There you go.
Appreciate you.
Voice recognition is just not quite there yet.
I think since the last time we recorded, did we have the dinner mystery thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't. Oh, since you last recorded, I don't
My
remember.
days all run together. I don't know.
Well, I mean, you had a week off or something like that.
Well, more than a week, yeah, because we were recording on Tuesday, but then Ryan's fucking schedule shifted again. And so,
sorry,
we had to respect our military.
We had to move recording days again, which I should also note I should also make sure that everybody else knows that our release day will be changing as well.
I'm sorry.
So because we're recording on Friday, that's a much tighter window to get the show out by Monday. So that'll probably shift to, I'm guessing, Wednesday.
Yeah, but you don't got to worry about going to work tomorrow now.
No, yeah, sure, but I do have to complete my presentation for the talk that I'm delivering on Sunday. So, that'll be the majority of the time that I spend tomorrow, because I haven't actually written much of it at all. Well, I haven't written basically any of it at all yet. Still just doing some research and that kind of stuff. And I don't like to write something way ahead of when I'm going to be talking about it, because I want to
make it relevant.
I like to incorporate as much recent stuff as possible. So
make it topical.
Yeah, make it topical. And in the past, when I've prepared something well ahead of time, I get it done and I set it off to the side and I kind of forget about it. And then when it comes time to actually deliver it or do the talk or presentation or whatever, then I'm looking at it with
like new eyes.
Yeah, new eyes, or, very little memory of what I was thinking of when I put it together and, the points that I wanted to address and stuff. And so sometimes I'll get lost. But if I do it like the day before or the day of, then it's fresh in memory. It's right there. Yeah. A little easier to get through it.
I don't remember you're talking about the murder mystery party.
Yeah, I don't think I did.
Episodes,
so it must have been in between. I don't know. But we had, Grant and I attended a murder mystery party at the home of some mutual friends with a bunch of other mutual friends. And that was a lot of fun.
Or 15, 16 of us.
Grant got to kill Tracy.
I got to kill Tracy.
And I say got to because I was a little jealous that I didn't get to kill Tracy.
Well, everybody was mad at Tracy. I mean, the whole story revolved around everybody being mad at Tracy.
Yeah, everybody hated her.
Everyone had a reason to hate her for one reason or another. So
she's a horrible bitch.
Yeah, her dying came as no surprise whatsoever. Me being the killer came as a surprise.
Yes. Yeah, no, Matt.
I think Matt
Weibel guessed that one, yeah. I think he was the only one who fingered you.
Oh, you got fingered.
I got fingered by Matt. I got fingered. Matt Weibel.
No, that was a whole lot of fun.
We did our white elephant.
Yeah, we did have a white elephant thing. I still want the fucking,
so here it is.
I want the knapsack.
You want the knapsack. So here it is. So my white elephant gift, that I brought was, I have this box. It's a parody box. It's a joke box for a product called a knapsack. And it's a sack you just put over your head to take a nap.
Like a dirt nap?
No, you're just sitting on a bench.
Okay.
You put a sack over your head and you can take a nap in privacy.
So it's dark, it's more quiet, it has a fan
it's got a
inside
fan in it.
for ventilation.
I just figured usually when someone puts a bag over their head, they're taking a dirt nap.
No, it's a cloth bag to give you privacy and darkness while you sleep. It's got a fan. It hooks into your smartphone so you can control the bag from your smartphone. It's just this parody box where they put so much detail into the pictures and everything. But the product doesn't exist. I brought something else. But Matt opened this and everyone was like going, crazy over the knapsack. I shouldn't have said anything. I should have just let it go. But finally I'm like, Matt, you need to open it. And so he finally opens it and pulls it out. And what was really in there was a calendar. It was a dragon sex calendar where each month it shows a pair of dragons in various sexual positions.
Like the Dragon Kama Sutra.
Yes, the Dragon Kama Sutra. So that got that ended up being passed around and came back stickier than it started, I think.
But chicken wings.
Dan still wants.
I did. As soon as he opened it and I saw a knapsack and I started reading the box, I'm like, I'm fucking stealing that gift, man.
Well, fuck it.
That's going to be mine.
I shouldn't have said anything. I should have let it be
Tracy was
passed
sitting
around.
next to me and I elbowed her. I'm like, we need to team up and get that fucking knapsack because I will use the shit out of that thing.
Well, now you just got to make one.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a pillowcase on your head. That's pretty much all it is.
With a fan.
Well, with a fan. Yeah.
That you can, I mean, you're programmers.
Dude,
build a program that can Bluetooth to a fan that control the fan speed while you're in there and have a little light that turns on and off. After so much time.
It was fucking ideal. Like it's just like a cloth sack. Like in movies when somebody is kidnapped and they throw a cloth bag over their head before they toss them in the back of a van or whatever. That's what this looked like on the box. And I thought that's fucking perfect. Like when you're on an airline flight, if I'm sitting at my desk at work during a break,
park bench,
if I'm sitting in my office upstairs, like I can put the bag over my head so the lights go out and it's more quiet and it's got a little fan in there. That would be fucking awesome. I was really disappointed that wasn't the real gift.
I'm sure there are pictures of this box online. So anyone who wants to just look up knapsack parody box or gift box.
Yeah.
Well, then
I'm sure you can find it.
When you invent this, you got to come up with ones with different faces on the front of the knapsack.
Oh, like different
happy
pictures
face.
or
Yeah.
What your mood is right now. I'm angry. I'm angry. Don't bother me.
That would be like, oh shit, what's Rorschach?
Yeah.
Yeah, like Rorschach.
From what the fuck?
It's the
Not
comic book
Mystery
movie.
Man, but
I can't think of the
yeah,
name of
it's
the
with
movie.
a cosmic guy and
Yeah.
There's people listening, yelling at their headphones or radio.
Something Watchmen.
Yes.
Watchmen.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
knew
It's
it
like
was-
Rorschach
I
from
knew
the
it was
Watchmen.
Men something.
Yeah. Be able to control that with your phone, the app on your phone, and just change. Oh, yeah. That'd be fucking amazing.
Build
I would
it. You'll be
buy all
millionaires.
of them. Huh?
Build it.
I would buy all of them.
We can go on the Shark Tank.
People buy pet rocks, man. So
Yeah.
This
yeah.
would be great.
People buy stupid shit.
This is Phil Ferguson of the cleverly titled The Phil Ferguson Show, and thank God you're listening to the Godless Rebelution.
Christopher Hitchens, how would you sum up the impact of the Ten Commandments?
As an appeal to give your allegiance to a totalitarian authority. It's a document of a very aggressive and cruel tribe and religion. And it shows obvious things like this code are common to all human morality, and I would say innate, and that a religion gets its morality from humans and not the other way around.
The Ten Commandments have underpinned Western law for centuries, indeed for millennia. What's wrong with that?
Well, what's wrong with it is it isn't true, of course. The fact is, anybody, Socrates, for example, Plato, his recorder, anybody who is interested in virtue, justice, truth, the right thing to do, is going to examine what is at the heart of good human behavior. But let's look at what they don't do. They don't stop slavery, there's no mention of it, and they kept slaves. So, hello, what a perfect society they had because of their Ten Commandments. What did God forget? The Ten Commandments are the hysterical believings of a group of desert tribes. Those desert tribes have stored up more misery for mankind than any other group of people in the history of the planet, and they're doing it to this day. To say that that should underpin the way we live, to say it's a commandment, that gives all your game away. How dare
My
you
game, it's not
command?
my game.
You bid us be commanded. I think life is much more exciting than that, to do with finding out. It's not to do with being told by some awful patriarch.
Stephen, we're not speeching. We're trying to
I
answer.
am, sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
we're
happy
trying
to.
answer
Because
questions.
these damn commandments of yours, you say they've made life better. I say they've suppressed and tyrannized and bullied.
Please stand by. The Godless Rebelution will continue in a moment.
Hey everybody, we're the Utah Outcasts, and we want you to listen to our show.
We're a rowdy bunch of super liberal atheists that reside in the state of Utah, who bring you current events and featured content on a semi-weekly basis.
Whether it's us poking fun at the religious right or ranting at the world in which we all reside, we want to borrow your ears for about an hour twice a week.
Hey, and don't forget to tell them the best part about it.
Oh yeah!
The show's free for all.
It is indeed, so if you like free, we're available through iTunes, Overcast, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Spreaker, Google Play, Patreon, and even in full HD video via YouTube. Give us a listen. You won't be sorry.
Thanks for listening. Now back to the show.
It's been a while, actually.
Yeah.
That we did our little thing, or Matt did our little thing with the Two Skeptical Chaps and Dr. Dan from the 2SC podcast, to whom we pledge loyalty. Apparently says nuclear instead of nuclear. And
Nuclear.
So Matt threw together that whole
Nuclear
montage of Dr. Dan.
And if he's a doctor, he should know how to speak right.
well, you would think.
He's a different kind of doctor. I mean,
he's got a doctor in there.
Well, I'm guessing proctologists don't deal with nuclear things very often. But
my ex-mother-in-law, whenever she would say something, like she would say aluminium or use a word that isn't quite right, and I would tease her a little bit for it. She's like, well, I'm English, and we're the ones who gave you your language, so fuck off. And I would be like, oh, well, that doesn't mean you can't fuck it up all the time, because that's clearly what you're doing. But so Matt made that little montage of Dan from 2SC, the Two Skeptical Chaps podcast, and
it sounded like, they didn't make a big deal about it. They laughed about it.
Yeah. It was
they
kind
joked
of funny.
about it a bit.
So Matt put it all together, and then we just played it at like the opening of a show and never even mentioned it at all. Like through the whole show, we just never even mentioned it. Just put it out at the front and then never mentioned it, and waited to see what they would say or do. And it took a while, but they finally put something together as a response that I thought was pretty lovely.
Good.
Actually, it was brilliant.
I'm a very vengeful person, Spike.
You are.
People do things that I don't like. I don't let them go. Like, for example, do you remember when the Godless Rebelution, they made some clips of us and made it sound silly? They made it sound like we were, talking about rude things.
I know you've done your revenge.
Please stand by. The Godless Rebelution will continue in a moment.
I love the banjos.
The banjo is awesome.
Yeah. It's divinely inspired.
Yep.
It's the word of God.
Yeah, I even started seeing part of my spirit when I'm done recently and stuff. That's happening now, so.
Judeo-Christian values in America and and I'm not going to get monster truck.
2 people listening are going to love that.
A Jew? We ain't
Where's
never.
your horns?
We ain't never seen a Jew around here.
Yahoo! Trump! Just Trump!
There is nothing with a hole or round shape of any sort in my house that has not felt the fiery wrath of my penis. Constantly poking and prodding.
Like, what's something way I can make it really dumb with facts and not facts?
Norman combat! Get over here!
I'm gonna keep going. If I'm digging a hole, if I'm digging a shit hole, I mean, like eating some shit pie, I'm gonna keep fucking going.
Oh!
Dr. Dan, Matt's boss from the 2SC podcast, to whom we pledge loyalty.
There still is a lesson in there. Oh!
I say more stupid stuff.
Yes.
I masturbate.
Continue doing that when you see me out. And I like what you're doing.
I call the shots. End of story.
How am I gonna stroke my meat now? Beat off while they're fucking singing the national anthem. And I was like, ooh, 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 ooh.
Decided on.
I don't care. It's very pointy. It's just like a cone with a point.
Oh!
Because the earth is flat. Topopapadopoulos.
Idiot.
Topopapadopoulos.
So incompetent.
The whole thing is just so fucking bananas and awesome. I'm excited about it. I like it very much.
Let's wind it back.
Dr. Dan, Matt's boss from the 2SC podcast, to whom we pledge loyalty.
There still is a lesson in there. Oh!
Super much thanks very much to all of you. Happiness, yes.
Yes, indeed.
I thought that was very well put together.
I think so also.
And
I think Dr. Dan has way too much time on his hands.
When I first listened to it, I'm like, okay, what did they do? And how are we going to do our rebuttal to this? I tried to grab it up on my phone and it didn't work. So I'm like, I go to my bedroom and get it up on my laptop real quick. And I was like, fuck, that's funny.
I'm surprised.
How do we respond?
You're surprised.
They're British. They're not supposed to be funny.
Yeah,
they're supposed to have dry humor. This is like outrageous humor.
I thought it was very well done. I think the banjos give it that
the banjos were awesome.
Perfect.
If they had done dueling banjos.
And we keep saying, all night now.
Well, what's funny is they pulled that clip of Matt doing that sound to make fun of him, and he was making fun of me for making a similar sound earlier.
Ooh, it's an inception.
Yes, it was all very, very well done. I think we'll save a formal rebuttal for a future episode when Matt is here, but I thought that was very, very well done. And I laughed a lot when I first heard it. That is from episode 71 of the Two Skeptical Chaps
or
podcast.
We might have to find the time to make another video again. I might have some ideas in my head.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I'm not going to share them on the podcast, though.
I laughed a lot at that. I laugh every time I hear it. Just sitting here in the studio, my face hurts from grinning a lot.
And now that we gave everybody a laugh, we get to make them pissed off.
Yeah, what are we going to make them pissed off about?
I don't know. What are we covering first?
Sex abuse.
Sure. You want to talk about sex abuse in the LDS Church?
It's happening everywhere.
Who doesn't want to talk about that, really?
There's Salma Hayek, there's LDS, there's Roy Moore, there's... I mean, for Christ's sake.
Well, we have... Well, we could do this one first.
Because it's fucking funny again.
It's just funny, but it's a very visual thing, too.
Yeah, it is, but it's still just fucking amazing.
It is
that this guy is. I mean, he's got to be in his 50s, right? At least he's got to be in his 50s.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean he went to school.
And he does live in Alabama.
And he's an elected representative.
Yeah.
For what? The House? Is it a state position
can't remember.
or federal?
Yeah, I don't remember. But this is a guy from Roy Moore's campaign. He was a campaign spokesperson. Who says that Muslims shouldn't be in U.S. Congress because they have to swear on the Bible. And this is Jake Tapper interviewing him on CNN. And it's amazing that this guy actually holds any kind of
position.
Yeah, any kind of anything, really. He doesn't deserve any position with any kind of authority at all.
Judge Moore has also said that he doesn't think a Muslim member of Congress should be allowed to be in Congress. Why? Under what provision of the Constitution?
Because you have to swear on the Bible. When you are before, I had to do it. I'm an elected official, 3 terms. I had to swear on the Bible. You have to swear on the Bible to be an elected official in the United States of America. He alleges that a Muslim cannot do that ethically, swearing on the Bible.
You don't actually have to swear on a Christian Bible. You can swear on anything, really. I don't know if you knew that. You can swear on a Jewish Bible.
Oh, no. I swore on the Bible. I've done it 3 times.
I'm sure you have.
I don't know if you knew that. I don't know if you knew that. You don't have to swear on a Bible.
You dumb fucking hick. That's what he wanted to say.
Yeah.
I don't know if you knew that, you dumbass Alabama.
Well, and then this guy starts cutting him off. Oh, no, I know. I've 3 terms. I did it. I swore on the Bible.
I've done it 3 times.
I'm sure you have. I'm sure you've picked a Bible, but the law is not that you have to swear on a Christian Bible. That is not the law.
That is not the law. And then
you don't know that?
So this pregnant pause, he's not pausing. Dan isn't pausing the video. The guy is just staring mouth gaped into the camera, not knowing what the hell to say now.
Just
it's
agape.
What, about a 10-second pause?
And he gives this like
weird
really
shudder.
Slow blink, like what? Like it's like his brain is short circuiting after Jake Tapper said that to him.
How long is that pause? I'm curious now.
Let's see. I'm gonna back it up a bit here. We'll go back to 42 seconds into this video.
I'm sure you've picked a Bible, but the law is not that you have to swear on a Christian Bible. That is not the law. You don't know that?
So it started at 8.
All right, Ted Crockett.
I don't know. I know that
about 8 seconds. It was about 8 seconds before Jake Tapper was about to just cut him loose.
Well, and Jake Tapper tries to cut in to let him know, like, you don't know that? You're unaware of this? And the guy, and then there's another big long pause.
And it's like, should I call 911? Are you having a seizure?
Trump did it when we made him president.
Because he's Christian and he picked it. That's what he wanted to. That's what he wanted to swear in on. Ted Crockett with the More campaign. Good luck tonight. Thank you so much for being here.
I couldn't believe
the look on that guy's face.
It was perfect.
Yeah, I couldn't believe when that happened. I showed it to Tracy last night. We were sitting down having dinner and she asked me something about Roy Moore, and I was watching Rachel Maddow, the older episode, because I've been going into the office all this week for training, whatever. I had to go to the office 3 fucking times this week, man. Drive all the way to fucking Ogden through the soup in the morning. The first morning I woke up a little bit late, but then I forgot my fucking badge. I didn't take in my laptop because they said we wouldn't need them. There was a horrific accident on the way. Like this was on Tuesday, and it was like, I made a post about it on Facebook because I was sure that despite what the calendar said, it had to have been a Monday for everything that went wrong. Then I get to work. They told us that we were going to have laptops there for the training, that the training was sending laptops specifically for this because...
Like with all their stuff loaded on it.
Yeah, because it was... So the training was for advanced debugging on production systems for .NET programming. And so they wanted to make sure that all of the tools and everything were loaded on whatever computers we were going to use. It's much easier to ship machines pre-configured for whatever you want than to send us something ahead of time and waste more of our time with, okay, install this on your computer and this and this and this and set it up. So they were going to ship laptops out there for all of us to use and said, don't bother bringing your computers because we're going to have them there. So then I get to work after all of the shit in the morning that happened. Then I finally get to work and the computers aren't there because apparently they tried to deliver them very early in the morning before anybody was at the shipping location where they have to send them, because everything that comes into us, because we're a federal agency that is disliked by many people.
It has to be checked.
Yeah, it's got to be checked. It's got to go to a central shipping location, and then from there it's sent out to the satellite places where all of the employees are. So nobody was there to accept the delivery really early in the morning, so then I had to sit out on a dock. And then once somebody came in, then they had to get bomb-sniffing dogs out there to sniff the packages before they could send them to us. So, yeah, so just, all this just bullshit goes on. And then we don't even have a machine. And
so, Ryan, how do you feel? What's your reaction to the pain and suffering Dan's endured at having to go into the office? 3 whole days this week.
I mean, I only have to drive
3 days.
3 days. He had to, he had to put on pants on and go into the office.
I mean, I only
shower.
I only have to drive 280 miles round trip to work. And then I live at work. And this last week I had to live there for a whole week. No booze. No.
You guys can't, there's no booze there?
No, we firefighters aren't allowed to drink on duty. Just sheer boredom.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched all 3 seasons of Silicon Valley in 2 days.
That's a good show.
Geez. It is. I hadn't watched it yet. I'm like, Silicon Valley. I have it on my Amazon account, so I watched all 3 seasons.
And it's Silicon Valley.
Hey. I bet there's some silicone in there someplace.
You're giving Dr. Dan ammunition.
Yeah, Silicon Valley is very
But I never
good.
claimed to be a doctor.
Yeah, that's a great show. But yeah, just all of that. I can't even remember what got me on this whole topic, but yeah, I had to go into the office 3 times. What the fuck were we talking about?
I don't know now.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, well, the moment's passed. Someone will have to send us a message.
We were talking about the Roy Moore guy.
Yeah. Oh, that I was talking to Tracy and telling. Oh, that was. Oh my God, we totally got sidetracked.
Yeah, you were showing Tracy the video from Rachel Maddow, which you had fallen behind on because had to go into the office.
Right. So we're having dinner.
Story number 3.
I asked Tracy, I'm like, we're watching Rachel Maddow, which was a previous episode because I had to go into the office. So she's talking about Roy Moore. And I just mentioned to Tracy, I'm like, oh, did you see that video that I posted of Roy Moore's spokesperson being interviewed by Jake Tapper? And she's like, no, what are you talking about? So I'm like, oh my God, you have to watch this. And I set it up and cast it to the TV in the kitchen where we're having dinner. And she just stops, when there's that long pause and there's no sound at all, and it's just this guy with his mouth open and this really slow blink, and she's just like, ha, 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 started laughing her ass off. She's like, what the fuck? He just sat there, and then this really long, slow blink, like, it looked like his brain was melting. She expected it to come out of his ears at any moment, because he completely froze for a really long fucking time.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to do a re-edit of that video tonight to make it more comedic.
Yeah.
So they'll see that before they see the show. So then they'll know what it's about when they see the show. But now that I've said it on the show, I have to do it in real life.
You do. You've committed yourself.
Yeah.
Unless you're like me and you say, maybe I'll do this, but you said
I will do it.
You're going to do it now. Okay. Well, we'll have that to look forward to.
It shouldn't take long because my ideas, I think, will be funny. and Grant helped make the idea funnier.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I did? Oh.
Yeah, remember, you gave me advice on it.
Oh, okay.
Hey, everybody, it's X from the Utah Outcasts podcast and YouTube channel. And you're listening to the Godless Rebelution.
Why don't you accept this wonderful offer? Why wouldn't you like to meet Shakespeare, for example? I mean, I don't know if you really think that when you die you can be corporeally reassembled and have conversations with authors from previous epochs. It's not necessary that you believe that in Christian theology, and I have to say it sounds like a complete fairy tale to me. The only reason I want to meet Shakespeare, or might even want to, is because I can meet him any time, because he is immortal in the works he's left behind. If you've read those, meeting the author would almost certainly be a disappointment. But when Socrates was sentenced to death for his philosophical investigations and for blasphemy, for challenging the gods of the city, and he accepted his death, he did say, well, if we are lucky, perhaps I'll be able to hold conversation with other great thinkers and philosophers and doubters too. In other words, that the discussion about what is good, what is beautiful, what is noble, what is pure and what is true could always go on. Why is that important? Why would I like to do that? Because that's the only conversation worth having. And whether it goes on or not after I die, I don't know. But I do know that it's the conversation I want to have while I'm still alive. Which means that to me, the offer of certainty, the offer of complete security, the offer of an impermeable faith that can't give way, is an offer of something not worth having. I want to live my life taking the risk all the time that I don't know anything like enough yet, that I haven't understood enough, that I can't know enough, that I'm always hungrily operating on the margins of a potentially great harvest of future knowledge and wisdom. I wouldn't have it any other way. And I'd urge you to look at those of you who tell you, those people who tell you at your age that you're dead till you believe as they do. What a terrible thing to be telling to children. And that you can only live, and that you can only live by accepting an absolute authority. Don't think of that as a gift. Think of it as a poisoned chalice. Push it aside, however tempting it is. Take the risk of thinking for yourself. Much more happiness, truth, beauty, and wisdom will come to you that way. Thank you.
The next rant will start right after this.
Here follows a public service announcement for the Two Skeptical Chaps podcast. Greetings, Americans! Over here in London, we are well aware that not all of you are loud, xenophobic, racist, sexist, religious nuts.
But many of your politicians who display these frightful traits seem to be quite popular.
Particularly a certain wall-obsessed, small-handed, best-word-using, daughter-perving, war-inciting, candy-floss-headed clown.
To those of you who choose to follow such balderdash, we strongly recommend not to listen to the Two Skeptical Chaps.
It probably won't be your cup of tea.
Otherwise, give us a listen.
Each episode we cover any news or current affairs from across the globe.
Things that annoy or delight us.
That's two as in the number 2.
And skeptical with a K.
The wrong way to spell it. Cheerio!
Thank you to everybody who has rated the show on iTunes and Stitcher and are following us on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. And to all our Patreon patrons, you make the show possible.
With a bit more news on the Roy Moore, he still hasn't fucking conceded
fucking...
He's waiting for God.
Yeah, he hasn't conceded
Waiting for
his
God
loss.
God to cast his vote.
Yeah, but if God's real, what if God already fucking decided Roy Moore's a dipshit and shouldn't be in office?
Well, and how would God even get by the Alabama ID requirements? I mean, does God have a valid Alabama ID?
I don't know.
Well, if he's everywhere, he's got a valid ID for every place.
Why?
He could have voted in every county.
Yeah, he could have, I guess.
Yeah, but that would be illegal.
Yeah, but he's everywhere. He just jumps up someone's anus and goes and votes for him.
He jumps up their anus and then drives them to the polling station?
What better way is there for God to enter your body?
There are other orifices.
But the asshole is Ryan's favorite.
Given that you go for the asshole first.
You see, if he goes,
what better way? I mean, really, if you're gonna go in someone's body, what better way to get there than through their asshole?
I mean, he's a Holy Spirit. He takes the holiest of holes.
Wouldn't you go for something closer to the brain?
Yeah, but if you go through the mouth or nose, I mean, that could cause them to suffocate. They can't breathe then. You got a Holy Spirit fucking you up in there. You can't go through the ear because you got a little block in there called your eardrum.
Well, I just thought, you don't,
God.
And the urethra is just too tight.
The asshole, your asshole is the one thing, it's the one orifice on your body that, whenever you refer to it, you say my asshole, right? You don't say my mouth hole.
No.
Or my eye hole or my ear hole. You say your ears or your eyes or your mouth. But your asshole, you say, this is my asshole.
Yeah, that's an independent part from your ass.
Right.
Yeah, there's your ass and your asshole.
Right.
They're two different body parts.
So it's the best hole for him to enter through. And I bet you probably always wondered what a fart is, because he's got to get back out somehow.
So every time you hear a fart, an angel's getting his wings? Is that?
Oh no, every time you hear a fart, God's exiting.
I thought farts were just the ghosts of whatever I had eaten leaving my body.
Yeah. Or I've heard that a fart is nothing more than a shit honking for the right of way.
Oh.
The spirit of my lunchtime tamales.
Right. I thought that's what it was just that ghost departing my body.
Well, you know how we always call God a shitty person. Well, there's a reason why.
But getting back to a different kind of asshole.
Getting back to another shit.
Oh, I derail again.
Another piece of shit.
Yeah, Roy Moore still has not conceded that he lost the election to Doug Jones.
His fucking reason why is horrible.
Well, yeah.
Not just the God part of it, but the other aspects.
Well, so we'll play this clip of a video that Roy Moore released. But before we do that, I read an article from somebody who was previously an evangelical Christian who pointed out a lot of the language that Roy Moore uses in his video, that he's waiting for God to appoint him or God's appointment and anointing or whatever. And Roy Moore is just so far fucking deluded that he really, really, really believes that he was selected by God to be not only a candidate, but to be the senator from Alabama.
Kind of like Trump was.
And that there is no way that he could lose the election because he's God's chosen candidate. God picked him to be this candidate. He won't concede the election because he's still just waiting for God to set things right.
Yeah, because on his meth-fueled night with 12-year-old hookers, he had a message from God.
Well, he's just waiting. To Roy Moore's brain, everything that has occurred so far is God just waiting for the appropriate moment to set things right and put Roy Moore in that Senate seat.
So of all the states in the U.S., I mean, forget about the rest of the world, just the U.S., the one state God is more concerned about than any other state is Alabama.
Yes.
Well, maybe not even that he's more concerned or only concerned about Alabama, but that he's specifically concerned about Alabama. That he specifically wants Roy Moore in that position.
Everyone in
because
Alabama
Roy
loves
Moore
God.
is God's guy. He's the one there to set everything right. He's the one who's going to go to the Senate and shake things up. He's going to get rid of them homos being able to marry people. He's going to do away with the whole notion of those trans people saying that they're men and then being women or claiming one or the other. That Roy Moore is going to be the guy who kicks off the whole revolution to set all of that shit straight.
So God apparently doesn't understand how the Congress works.
No. And
God, one senator can't do that.
No.
Well, Roy Moore's an awfully powerful guy. He's very, very convincing, and when he sets his mind to something, he'll either get it done or get kicked off of his fucking position as a judge.
You mean like being elected as senator?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's just how fucking deluded he is. That's how far steeped and deluded in his religion he's become, that he really, really, really believes this shit, that he really thinks God is just waiting for the perfect time to put Roy Moore in that position.
Yeah.
That he's waiting for the votes to come in from overseas and people who are deployed in the military, that, you know, all of the provisional ballots, that everything has to be counted down, and that when that happens, either he'll be declared the winner or it'll be close enough for a recount, and then he'll be declared winner. There's going to be a lawsuit. He won't give up. We're just in the early stages of this. Him refusing to concede is the starting point here.
Well, he's not going to get that 0.5% to have a mandatory recount. I don't think it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So if he wants a recount, he's got to pay for it on his own, and I guarantee he'll have enough fucking supporters.
But he can't. There's not even that.
He can't do that.
No.
Well, that's
There's no provision in Alabama law for him to even pay for a recount.
On the night of the election, CNN was in like the commissioners.
And they were wrong.
The commissioner was wrong when he said that Roy Moore can pay for a.
No. Yeah, he was wrong.
Yeah, he was absolutely wrong.
There's nothing in Alabama law.
I can't remember the guy's name or what his position was, but whoever they were speaking with was wrong.
Okay.
Because the person that CNN or whatever news outlet was speaking to said that, you know, if it's within 0.5%, there's an automatic recount.
Yeah. Then he said Roy Moore can.
But if you want to do it outside of that, then the campaign can pay for it, and that's not correct. That is for a federal election.
Federal.
Oh, okay.
Not a state. Not a state election.
No, that's for state election. This is a federal.
Right. Yeah,
it's the other way around. It's for a state election, not for federal.
Yeah, not for a federal position. That is for state elections only, not for an election for a federal position.
Yeah. And if I remember, well, he also said, hopefully he was correct on this one, that by Tuesday they'll have all those absentee ballots from military personnel counted,
certified.
So they'll have them all. Every vote will be certified by Tuesday, which is a 1 week time frame from the election. So that's when they'll find out if he reaches that 0.5%.
So do you see him filing lawsuits?
I do. He's not going to give up on this.
Going
he won't.
all the way up to SCOTUS?
Yeah, he will not give up on this. I mean, there will be, I'm sure, I am positive that this is the beginning of Roy Moore being a giant fucking dick about this. He's not going to go away.
And
he
even
honestly
Republicans are telling him to shut up and go away.
Yeah, but his religion has so deluded him that he honestly believes God picked him for this position and will not disappoint. It's not even a question of God disappointing him. It's as far as Roy Moore is concerned, it's still going to happen. He's going to be the newest senator from Alabama. It's just a matter of when.
It's not God disappointing him. He doesn't want to disappoint God.
Not even that.
By giving up.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah. But but to him, there's no
to him, God hasn't
even giving
spoken
up
yet because it's not done.
Because in Roy Moore's mind, he is the senator. Yeah. God picked him for
he
that.
Is the chosen
God is
one.
always right. God is all powerful. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of when and how.
Yeah.
But
he's come down off the mount with the tablets.
Yeah. It's lunacy, man. It's bananas.
Yeah.
But he recorded this video the day after the election, and it's.
I wanted to punch him the first 30 seconds into it.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, I can't fucking listen to this, but
yeah. It's really fucking creepy and proves what a giant fucking asshole he is.
Roy Moore is inherently creepy.
Well, yeah.
So, I mean.
Good evening. Tomorrow, my wife and I will celebrate our 32nd wedding anniversary. I want to thank her and all my family for standing with me through this long and arduous campaign. And of course, I want to thank all of you who have stood with me in this very important battle for the future of our country. We are indeed in a struggle to preserve our republic, our civilization, and our religion, and to set free a suffering humanity. And the battle rages on. In this race, we have not received the final count to include military and provisional ballots. This has been a very close race, and we are awaiting certification by the Secretary of State. This particular race was watched not only by the people of this state, but by the entire nation and many around the world. Why? Because I believe the heart and soul of our country is at stake. Like most Americans, I'm concerned about the future of our country.
And the reasons why he's concerned reveal what a giant fucking slimy prick this guy is.
Both financially and morally. After the election of Donald Trump a little over a year ago, I saw a window of hope and an opportunity that we could return to our founding principles and the Constitution of the United States.
So are the founding principles that you should grab women by the pussy? Just kiss them whenever you want. Do it if you're a star. They'll let you do whatever you want.
I think
is that the small window of hope that Roy Moore was looking for?
Have you not read the Bible?
Yeah.
I think you mean the Babel.
The Bible.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure our founding principles were "Thou shalt be a cunt."
It would seem so with Roy Moore and Donald Trump anyway.
Yeah. Well, the founding principles of the U.S. were that all men were created equal.
Right.
Yeah, not women.
Yeah.
Which has governed us for over 200 years. Our forefathers recognized in the Declaration of Independence that all men and women.
You'll notice that pause. Like when I first watched this, I noticed that all men and women are created equal.
Except the founding fathers never said that, but we'll set that aside.
Yeah.
Independence that all men and women are created equal and endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Unless you're gay.
Yeah, unless you happen to want something that I, as a Republican conservative, Christian Republican conservative, don't want you to do.
I don't want anything icky.
Yeah. God says that you shouldn't do that, and so I'm not going to allow you to do that.
That American dream has today been tainted by corrupt politics and a government which has become out of control and out of touch with the people.
Well, it's getting out of touch.
The more out of touch, as far as Roy Moore and Donald Trump are concerned, the better. They're the creepy Uncle Touchy who wants to grab you by the pussy. The more out of touch they are, the better off the rest of the country is.
Many do not share the vision of those who built this country. Today, we no longer recognize the universal truth that God is the author of our life and liberty. Abortion, sodomy, and materialism have taken the place of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
When's the last time one of you guys got an abortion? Are you appreciating all of these liberties that you've been granted?
Isn't sodomy the definition of the pursuit of happiness? I mean, for some people.
Well, I mean, if you look up the definition of the word sodomy, it includes basically everything besides missionary position sex of penis and vagina. I mean, it's everything from different sexual positions to oral sex to anal sex. It's basically everything except missionary style position between a man and woman in the act of procreation.
Yeah.
That's what sodomy is.
He's probably sodomited.
Sounds kind of fucking boring. But.
In the words of Abraham Lincoln, we have been the recipient of the choicest bounties of heaven. We've been preserved in many years in peace and prosperity. We have grown in numbers, wealth, and power.
I'm sorry, I have to stop it again, and I'll back it up a little bit more because it really fucking pisses me off that this asshole has the huevos to quote Abraham Lincoln,
who was fairly liberal,
and he says that after his
been gay.
Yeah. Well, and he says this after his previous faux pas of saying that the United States was better back when slavery was okay. You know, before you can do away with
what Lincoln did.
Yeah, you can do away with everything past
the 10th Amendment.
The 10th Amendment.
Yeah, which the 13th Amendment, you got women's rights, you got
equal treatment under the law.
Yeah, you got a whole shitload of stuff in there. He's like, nah, we don't need those.
Yeah, we don't need any of those. Allowing women to vote, allowing blacks to vote, ending slavery, all of those things, those can all go away because the U.S. was much better before those were.
Which I would disagree.
Are you sure? You sounded like you were hedging a little bit.
I would pretty much say that things weren't that great back then.
In peace and prosperity. We have grown in numbers, wealth, and power as no other nation has ever grown, but we have forgotten God. We have forgotten the great...
Have we forgotten God?
No, he says, he tries to remind us every day that this fucking mythical creature exists.
What percentage of the country believes in God?
Yeah, the overwhelming majority of the country.
Yeah.
Well, what he means is we're not allowed to force our kids to learn about his Christian God in school anymore. Which you never were allowed to do in the fucking first place.
Yeah, but even then, that's not forgetting God. That may be disregarding God's commandments or God's teachings or God's will. But that's not forgetting God. That's just saying, fuck you.
He doesn't belong here.
Yeah.
This isn't God's house.
Gracious hand which preserved us in peace and multiplied, enriched, and strengthened us. And we have vainly imagined in the deceitfulness of our own hearts that all of these blessings...
The deceitfulness of our own hearts, coming from a man who sexually molested how many different women?
Was it 9?
I think there were 9 accusations.
And is corroborated by more than 30 witnesses besides those individual women who have come forward with basically the same story about what Roy Moore does as a sexual predator for young women.
Well, and his own wife was fucking 15 when he saw her at a dance recital.
Yeah, how weird that she would fit perfectly the profile
of every fucking accuser.
Every abuse story from these other women.
Well,
right?
and the great thing was, I think someone did the math, and I'm like, well, so, like, she was like 15 or 16 or 17 when they got married. He would have been 29, and the allegations of him messing around with these other chicks put him around 31, 32, so that means he would have been cheating on her that whole fucking time.
Oh, shit.
Oh.
I hadn't seen that.
I hadn't thought about that math myself, but yeah, that is absolutely true.
Were produced by some superior wisdom and virtue of our own. We have stopped prayer in schools.
No, we haven't.
We never started it.
That's not a fucking thing. We've said that you can't have the teachers leading all of the students in prayer.
Yeah.
We haven't stopped prayer in schools. Students pray in school all the fucking time. Even in public schools. Dumbass.
We've murdered over 60 million of our unborn children.
No!
I want to know, like, I don't know, it was when Rick Santorum was running for something. Maybe it was for president way, way back. And I got a picture of a zygote and I posted it on Facebook and said, Rick Santorum thinks this is a human baby. Rick Santorum's a fucking moron. Because so yeah, everybody go and Google what a zygote is.
Yeah.
And look at the picture and tell me that that's a human. Yeah.
Well, you can even take a zygote of different animals, different mammals, and put it up against a zygote of a human zygote.
Oh yeah. Identify the human.
Same.
Identify the human zygote in this picture.
And a zygote, I mean, and they can split into 2 independent beings.
So are you telling me that we may have murdered 120 million unborn children?
I'm saying that's not a quality that human beings have. And if and this is what's always amazed me, if a child, an unborn, baby, a zygote, whatever, gets their soul at conception, if they're human at conception, and if they split, then which one gets the soul?
That's why you always
which of the identical twins does not have a soul?
That's where you get the movie The Omen from.
Maybe that's it. Well, they weren't twins though. I mean,
he killed the other one in the womb.
Oh, he did?
I don't know. I'm making that up.
Oh, okay. fake news.
Well, and Richard Dawkins actually mentioned that during a talk.
Did he?
He said, one of the great ways that he loves to troll or tease religious people is to say, okay, well, so for a monozygotic twins, which one got the soul?
Yeah. Or do they have half souls? Is a soul split in half between them? I mean, how does that work with the soul?
And
does God send down an emergency soul? I mean,
when you think about his, 60 million number, they also consider contraception, birth control, the morning after pill, all to
swallowing.
All to be. Well, it might get there. He might think it happens.
Falling on the sand.
Probably masturbation.
But he considers most very devout Christians consider all of that forms of abortion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We've redefined marriage and destroyed the basis of family, which is the building block of our country. Our borders are not secure.
Our borders?
How many
borders are not secure?
How many years ago did we redefine marriage? I mean, it's been what, 4, 5, 6 years?
Well, I guess, are you talking about the Supreme Court decision?
SCOTUS official once and for all.
I don't even think that's been 2 years, has it?
Did we redefine marriage or just open up the availability of marriage?
No, I mean, by their definition. I'm using their definition. Yeah. But I mean, so far I haven't seen us falling into a hellscape. I mean, our people...
Well, we did get Trump.
Oh, well, yeah, I guess there's that. Fuck. That ruins that theory.
Good call, Ryan.
Yeah.
Keeping us honest.
Maybe we shouldn't have legalized gay marriage.
And Full House came back on Netflix.
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
For a second season, too.
Yeah.
Really?
They have a second season.
A Fuller House has 2 seasons?
Yeah.
Wow.
Apparently 1 season wasn't enough.
Our borders are not secure.
Borders?
Our economy is faltering.
Oh, it brings me to another point. Motherfuckers. They keep saying that so they have this, I don't know, it's some kind of psychotic break, some bit of psychosis where Donald Trump talks all the time about how wonderful the economy is doing under Donald Trump. The Dow is up really high. Yep. Businesses are booming. People are hiring. Unemployment rates are low. Everybody's got money. Everything's going great. The economy is booming. And then you've got this fucking guy and even Donald Trump and other Republicans.
Donald Trump himself.
It's tanking.
Saying that the economy, we need to pass this.
Cuts.
Yeah, we need to pass this tax regulation or this tax reform because our economy is in the tank. This will boost our economy and get us back on the right track. Well, which is it?
Well,
is the economy in the tank or is it doing really fucking well? And if it's doing really well, then we don't need this fucking tax reform now, do we?
Yeah.
Have you seen how many hotels Donald Trump has had to close because he can't get enough illegal immigrants to work in them?
I haven't seen.
Oh,
I've seen a number of hotels
rename themselves.
Yeah, I've seen a number of hotels take Trump off of the name of the hotel because it's become a liability for them.
Well, even his crown jewel, his casino in Atlanta, the Taj Mahal had to close its doors.
Well, yeah, but I mean, that was, a decade ago. I mean, that
was last year.
Was it only?
Well, he filed bankruptcy on it.
They filed bankruptcy, but it finally closed and did the liquidation right before the election.
Right, they did the liquidation, but I thought it had been closed for a while before.
I'm not 100% when it actually closed. I know the liquidation and everything.
I know he had sold his stake years ago.
Because he knew what was coming.
Sold out on that long.
I mean, that's how he makes his money. He gets into something. He makes it seem like it's doing well. He fucking cashes out.
His name is basically.
Yeah.
And now that everybody knows what a shitty human being he is, the Trump brand name is
tanking.
Yeah.
So since the Trump brand is tanking, our economy is tanking.
So we need tax reform.
Yes. So he can have more money to make more hotels with his name on it.
The metrics he uses for saying when he says the economy is doing great under him, the metrics he's using are the exact same metrics, the exact same way we calculate unemployment and the market and everything about the economy that we were using a year ago when he was saying that the economy is doing shit under Obama.
And you can't rely on the unemployment numbers.
The unemployment numbers aren't 4.6 or 4.5 under Obama. No, they're like 35%.
Yeah.
Because they're lying to you about how they calculate it. He's calculating the same goddamn thing.
Yeah. And he forgets that we're on the same upward trend that it's been since Obama was in office and got us out of the recession.
And he hasn't done anything that would have affected that trend. So we're still under Obama's financial policies.
Yeah.
Yep.
Under an enormous national debt. And we have a huge drug problem. We've even begun to recognize the right of a man to claim to be a woman. And
it's like every 3 words out of his mouth, I'm like, this guy's so full of shit.
And most of this is why I'm like, even if he didn't molest these women, this is why I would never fucking vote for this fucker.
Yeah. Setting aside all of the allegations of inappropriate sexual behavior.
He's still a shitty fucking person.
Yeah.
What do you want to bet he's wearing a lacy pink thong right now?
They're super comfortable. Have you never tried one?
I bet he's not even wearing pants. He's probably got a 12-year-old underneath that desk.
Oh, Jesus. Maybe he's just got another rug, like the jacket he's wearing is what he's got for pants, too.
As the right of a man to claim to be a woman, and vice versa. We have allowed judges and justices to rule over our Constitution, and we have become...
That's what you were doing! That's why you were removed as a judge fucking twice, you jackass!
Because you wouldn't follow the fucking Constitution or the rules of the fucking highest court.
You were not following the fucking law, and so you were removed as a judge, not once, but twice. Because you're a fucking jackass.
Slaves to their tyranny. Immorality sweeps over our land. Even our political process has been affected with baseless and false allegations, which have become more relevant than the true issues which affect our country.
Yeah, never mind all of the allegations of sexual impropriety that the people are coming forward with talking about me. If it's a Democrat, I'm sure they did it.
Yeah.
But Donald Trump didn't do it. I didn't do it because we're fine, upstanding Christians, and so you should just always believe us.
Fake news.
Yeah.
Which is why when I was at work the other day, someone's like, well, these women didn't come forward about Donald Trump until after he was elected. I'm like,
bullshit.
No. He's had sexual assault allegations against him for a fucking while.
Yeah. People who say shit like that drive me up the fucking wall because they're just so fucking ignorant that well, this is the first time I've heard about it, so clearly nobody's ever talked about it before because I never heard about it before. Like, you know every bit of fucking news that is happening anywhere across the globe at any given time? You stupid fucking asshole. This isn't the first fucking time that it's been reported that any of this has happened. And if you took a moment's fucking time to actually look into it instead of just saying, well, I didn't hear about it before, so clearly it's never happened before, you would know how fucking wrong you are.
Well, and apparently their philosophy is that the only time a crime ever actually existed is if the perpetrator of that crime admits to it.
Yeah.
As long as the perpetrator doesn't admit to it, then the victim is lying.
Yeah.
I mean, what other
if the victim is a woman, though.
Well,
if the victim is a woman, she's lying. If it's a guy, we should probably take it more seriously.
Maybe, but I mean, with sex assault, with sex assault, there are guys who have come forward and accused others of sex assault. You know, the victims kind of span all genders.
Yeah.
The perpetrators are pretty much always men.
Yeah, men suck. Yeah, we do. We're terrible.
But no, I mean, what other crime is there where the victim is inherently lying unless the perpetrator admits to it? What other crime? I mean, if I punched Ryan in the face right now, well, I mean, you're here, you're a witness, but not saying I would punch you in the face. So Ryan's looking.
He's giving you some serious side-eye right now. Is that a comb?
Yeah, it is. It's my mustache comb.
On a switchblade.
Yeah. Ryan has a switchblade comb
awesome.
in his fucking pocket. Like,
you never know.
You've been carrying that around for how long now?
A few weeks. I've also got
just waiting for the perfect opportunity to pull it out.
I do it all the time at work. Well, that's why I used to comb my mustache. Like when I put like in the morning at breakfast, I'll usually sit down at the table with a cup of coffee. I'll look someone dead in the face and just go, and start combing my mustache, just looking at them.
And he pulls it on me, and I don't have enough hair to. I mean, the only hair on me that's long enough to comb would be like on my chest. But no, I mean, if I went up and punched somebody, I mean, would the person I punched inherently be lying unless I admit to punching him? No, I mean, the only crime that this applies to is sex assault.
That's true. I hadn't actually thought about it, but I can't think. Well, it may not be true, but I can't think of anything else.
I mean, if I say my house was robbed, would I be instantly disbelieved? Would I be instantly investigated as, you know, well, maybe he wasn't robbed. Maybe he just went out and sold all this shit on eBay and maybe the cops do look into it, but the public opinion doesn't automatically disbelieve me.
There's sympathy for you.
Automatic belief that I'm telling the truth unless evidence presents itself that I'm trying to run an insurance scam.
Mm. Yeah.
But what other crime is there that that's what's been bothering me about all this.
I really can't think of any others. And I've just been listening to you and trying to think while you're filling time on the air of
any others crime where the
of,
victim is automatically disbelieved. I can't think of anything.
Ooh, those aren't my drugs, officer.
But that's a different. That's a
perpetrator.
Denial. Yeah, that's a denial of a claim.
But what if they aren't your drugs? But you're being convicted of having drugs on you.
But it's a different.
Yeah,
still a different
I know.
Thing.
I just.
Yeah, still a different thing.
Yeah, because I'm like, what's something funny?
We still have a minute and 27 seconds of this.
God.
Yeah.
And he's been staring at me on this big flat panel TV.
With a little bit of a smirk.
The whole time. With
This election was
Benedict
tainted by
Arnold
over $50
behind
million
him?
from outside groups who want to retain power in their own corrupt ideology. No longer is this about Republican or Democrat control. It has truly been said there's not a dime's worth of difference between them.
And that's a bunch of fucking bullshit, too. Are there any Democrats who have anywhere near the platform that Roy Moore has? Anything fucking close to what Roy Moore says he believes and espouses and wants to accomplish once he gets into the Senate? Name me a Democrat whose platform comes anywhere fucking within 1,000,000 miles of Roy Moore's platform as a candidate. And then tell me that there's really no difference between the Republicans and the Democrats. That's fucking nonsense. That people who say that kind of shit are exactly the kind of people who don't know fuck all about politics. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about, and neither does Roy Moore.
Yeah. Trying to draw an equivalence between Democrats and Republicans is idiotic.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
I mean, yeah, there are some that are more commerce oriented, more economy oriented, free market and all that. But no, I mean it's black and white. It's fundamentally different.
Yeah.
It's about a Washington establishment which will not listen to the cries of its citizenry. And the battle rages on. Together we must stand against those who would take from us our country. In the words of the Holy Scriptures, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore take unto you the whole
spiritual wickedness in high places.
So we're fighting against the Roy Moores
and the Donald Trumps.
Yeah. He mentioned at the beginning of that it's about a Washington establishment that doesn't listen to the cries of the American people.
Of its citizens.
Of its citizenry. The cries of the American people said, do not repeal Obamacare. Do not pass this tax cut.
Yep.
Do not take away net neutrality.
Yep.
An overwhelming.
Do not pass this bit of this presidential decree that says that people from Muslim countries
travel
can't come to the United States. Right.
Overwhelming majority of the American people
do something about gun control.
Do universal background checks.
Yeah.
Would he vote in accordance with the cries of the American people? Come on.
The cries of the American people are what swayed eventually
for him to lose.
Well, not just for him to lose, but to give us marriage equality for LGBTQ people to be able to marry the person that they love.
A majority of the American people support marriage equality.
Right. They're just not the majority of people that Roy Moore knows.
They're not the right kind of, air quotes, right kind of people.
Right.
They don't go to his church.
They're not the real Americans.
The real Americans, the God-fearing,
God-fearing, church-going Americans. The Americans is who I'm talking about.
This in high places. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of God, that you may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand. The sacrifices of brave men and women throughout our history cry out to us, the living, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work, for which many of them gave the ultimate sacrifice. Let us here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, and for the people shall not perish from the earth. Thank you. Merry Christmas, and may God bless you.
Kiss my ass.
Yeah, you can fuck right off.
That reminds me of the scene from fucking Christmas Vacation where Clark is standing in the office and there's the parade of guys walking past him to go into the conference room or whatever, and it's like, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. Kiss my ass, kiss his ass, kiss your ass. Happy Hanukkah. There's something so fundamentally frustrating and maddening about nearly every fucking word that came out of his mouth.
Yeah.
And it highlights, to me anyway, why we need to do our best to make sure that we maintain a very fucking strict separation between religion and government.
Yeah.
Because you can't have religious zealots like this fucking asshole in office who want to instill basically Christian Sharia law.
Yeah.
And on the bottom there, it said paid by Judge Roy Moore. He's not a goddamn judge. He was thrown off.
Yeah.
He lost
He's
his
like
position as a judge
Sheriff air quotes
twice.
Joe Arpaio, who isn't a fucking sheriff anymore.
Well,
either.
yeah, there should be some kind of law that if you retire from a position or you serve your term, whatever, then maybe you can still use that honorific for whatever length of time, forever. That you're, former Judge Roy Moore or former President Barack Obama or whoever, that you should still be able to use that honorific. But if you are specifically removed from that position because you were not completing
You're fired.
the duties of that job,
you shouldn't be allowed to
you
use that
shouldn't be
honorific.
able to use that honorific, right?
Yeah.
He should fucking lose access and privilege to that honorific title because he fucking spoiled that position.
It's
right.
like somebody dishonorably discharged from the military.
Yeah.
Would you still call them Sergeant whoever if they were booted out of the military?
No, I still wouldn't call them Sergeant whatever when they got out of the military.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you retired and you request me to still call you Sergeant, you're a fucking dickbag.
But I mean, if they were given the boot by the military and still wanted to say, well, I'm Colonel so-and-so. No, you're Colonel Suck My Dick.
Yeah.
Like,
and those are the only
fuck
guys
off
that I
outta
know
here.
that keep that title after like retiring. Are high ranking officers are usually the only ones like, oh, ex-general so-and-so, ex-colonel so-and-so.
I would not be surprised though if the military has certain protocols for dishonorably discharged people of any rank where they lose
access to that honorific.
They do.
Certain honorifics or lose certain things.
A lot of times when
because
those guys get discharged, I've known a few people that have been dishonorably discharged.
they're reduced in rank to
their rank is stripped down to
E1.
the lowest
Yeah.
rank. So you are
all
nothing.
right, yeah. Yeah, so before they boot them out, they'll strip them of rank.
Strip them of rank.
Move them down to an E1 or whatever.
So they should have reduced him to a clerk before kicking him out.
Oh, those poor clerks who do great work and put in a lot of time and effort.
Paid for by janitor Roy Moore.
So we had a guy that went AWOL once, and was literally sucking dick for coke on the streets.
That's not a straw.
No.
Like,
well, he had to get
comes in cans and bottles and from fountains and
cocaine.
Oh, okay.
And,
I think that's still probably the wrong place to look for cocaine.
Well, it is, but he had no money, and he was AWOL from the military, so he couldn't use any credit cards, couldn't use anything.
But you're still not going to find cocaine in the dick.
Well, the cocaine, the sucking of the dick led him to the cocaine. That was the reward at the end of the suck. That's what's at the center of the Tootsie Pop. But
one,
two, three. Apparently, he offered to suck the wrong guy's dick for cocaine. And when he went to go,
the guy didn't have any cocaine.
The guy beat the shit out of him.
Oh.
And he ended up in the emergency room, and he still had his fucking military ID on him. So the hospital contacted the
his
base,
first shirt,
contacted the first sergeant, and then they found him. He went to Leavenworth. He went to Wyoming, a military prison in Wyoming. He's like, he got back from it, and when he's being discharged, he's like, yeah, I got paid the whole last year.
Oh, wow.
You busted down to an E1, but you're still holding a military rank, so he still got the very basic military pay the whole fucking time he was in prison.
I didn't realize that happened.
Either did I.
Huh.
I mean, it wasn't a whole shitload because he was the lowest.
E1s make shit. But.
Yeah, but it's still like, you're still collecting like $900 a month. That was just sitting in an account because he can't use it in jail.
So if you're sent out for manual labor, I mean, do you get TDY pay for that?
Good question. I wonder what your per diem is for that.
I'll have to look into that. I'm kind of curious about that now.
I imagine if you're actually sentenced to a long sentence in there, you're stuck. But he was in jail awaiting discharge from the military, so he was getting paid the whole time until he was discharged.
Yeah, that seems weird to me.
Me too.
We're gonna take a little break because I got to go to the bathroom.
Oh, you got to go poop again.
No.
Okay, it's gonna be a long break.
It's number one, right?
We'll sing Christmas carols to you.
Oh, holy butthole. Oh. Just make sure Jesus don't slip out.
What's
Hey, this is Taylor Grin from grinandbearint.com, where we do news, analysis, and commentary, and you're listening to Godless Rebelution.
I have a moral challenge on this point. Answer me this if you think that morality comes from the supernatural, and we require celestial dictatorship permission for it. Name me a moral action committed by a believer, or a moral statement, or ethical statement uttered by one, that could not be made or uttered by a non-believer. I've asked this in a number of venues and forums now. I'm going to keep on asking it. I have not yet had an answer. If I was to ask anyone in this room, however, could they name a wicked action performed or a vile statement made by someone attributable only to their religious faith, there isn't a single person here who would have to hesitate for a second in discovering what that was and saying it.
If you have questions, comments, concerns, compliments, corrections, criticisms, or concepts for content, contact the show via email at godlessrebelution@gmail.com, by text or voicemail at 330-81-REBEL, or Twitter the Twatter at TGR Podcast. Thank you!
Our friends over at the Satanic Temple are doing some more awesome stuff. Yeah. I say more, but it's like everything they do is awesome stuff, right? They've got great events that they host. They try to advocate as much as possible for the separation of religion and government, and for pluralism. They try to guarantee pluralism. You know, if you open a public forum for any type of religious expression, you should make sure that it's open for all types of religious expression.
Yeah.
You can't hold up any one religion as being better than the others. If it's a public forum, then it should be a public forum. All religious views should be accepted. So, the Satanic Monument that was commissioned for Belle Plains Veterans Memorial Park never made it across state lines before the city reneged on an agreement allowing its display on public grounds. This comes to us from the Star Tribune, and the title of the story is Satanic Temple Demands $35,000 After Belle Plain Cancels Public Space at Veterans Park. It was to be the first Satanic monument erected on public property in the nation. Because, of course, Oklahoma had their 10 monuments destroyed.
Or their 10 Commandments.
Not once, but twice. Before the Satanic Temple could get
it was only
installed
destroyed once. It was removed once.
No, it was destroyed twice. The same guy who ran it over the first time ran it over the second time in a different car. It was ran over with a car twice, both by the same guy, but in different cars.
Which one was one that was just removed at night and it looked like the guy was sucking the other guy off?
What?
Don't you remember that? Don't you remember that photo?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, it was where they removed one of the 10 Commandments at night from a state capitol, and they had a work light shining on the guys removing it, and they took a snapshot of them removing it. But one guy was standing up while the other guy was bending over, and the shadow that was cast on the wall looked like he was giving the other guy oral. No, it looked like was it oral or he was getting fucked in the ass? It's one of those two.
What is it with you and fucked in the ass tonight? I mean, it's all
some form of sodomy.
It's the holiest of holies.
So wait, do you remember this back from when your temperature was elevated? I mean,
I don't think it was a hallucination.
Maybe that was Alabama and removing it from Molly Moore.
That might have been that one.
Courthouse.
I don't remember that one. If I saw the picture, I'm sure I probably remember the.
But yeah, in Oklahoma, it was the same guy ran over the 10 Commandments monument.
Wasn't he from
both
like
times.
Texas or something? Or
I can't remember.
He wasn't even from Oklahoma.
Yeah, I can't remember where he was from. I don't know. He might have been an Oklahoma native. I don't know. But in either event, it was the same guy both times. Yeah, and he's a Christian. He's a Christian guy who ran over the 10 Commandments.
There's the
monument.
photo. It's fucked in the ass.
Oh, fucked in the ass.
Oh.
Because
Is that the same for you as oral?
It depends on how you look at the hole.
I'm just trying to put together how Ryan's mind works.
But that photo was the one that was like published on the news in the newspaper, and nobody caught the shadow.
Framing? Anyone? Are we framing this? Is nobody picking up on what's going on here?
Yeah, that was Oklahoma.
That was Oklahoma?
Yep, Oklahoma capital.
Always fucking
under the cover of darkness. Huh. That's why I thought one was removed in secret and one was...
They were both run over and destroyed.
So that must have been a different one.
Maybe.
Yeah, so they've done it multiple times.
Yeah. Anyway, they were... So the Satanic Temple wanted to put Baphomet in Oklahoma because there was the 10 Commandments, the Decalogue out there, erected twice, run over twice. And because it was ran over the second time, that negated their efforts in trying to get Baphomet there. They're still looking at possibly, Arkansas with Jason Rapert?
Yeah.
And him wanting to put up a 10 Commandments monument, and the Satanic Temple is petitioned to have Baphomet moved there if they proceed with doing that. And in Belle Plaine, they had this monument with it's a silhouette of a soldier on one knee with his rifle and bowing next to a crucifix or a cross. And because this was opened as a public forum, the Satanic Temple petitioned to have their own monument erected. They commissioned an artist to create the monument, which was to be the square or rectangle with
it was a square
with
had the military helmet upside down on top of it and had the symbols around the side of it.
Right. And so they were going to put that in. And as soon as they got all their paperwork filed, had everything nailed down, Belle Plaine canceled the open forum and removed the offending monument, if you will, that had stood alone or by itself as the only monument in the area, and it clearly has a religious or a Christian religious bent to it. As soon as the Satanic Temple got all of their ducks in a row to install their monument, Belle Plaine said, "Oh well, now we're just going to do away with it, and nobody can have anything there." So the Satanic Temple is now suing Belle Plaine for $35,000 for the cost of the monument, because they had commissioned it to be put in there because of this other thing, and now they're being denied. So they're suing Belle Plaine to try to recoup those losses. The story continues and says that the Satanic Temple had sought to install a memorial at a newly sanctioned free speech zone in the park as a counterpoint to a tribute depicting a soldier kneeling by a fallen comrade's grave marked by a cross. The city approved the Satanic Temple's memorial, a black cube inscribed with inverted pentagrams and crowned by an upturned helmet, and agreed to help install it this summer. It was to be the first satanic monument erected on public property in the nation, with the city leaders responding to dueling religious protests called off the installation. The Satanic Temple's attorney, Martin Flax, argues that the city's decision violated his client's First Amendment rights and constitutes a breach of contract. The nonprofit entity seeks $35,000 in damages, the cost of commissioning the piece. I wonder, as far as I know, the Satanic Temple is still not a non-profit entity. They haven't obtained their 501c3 status.
thought when we talked to Lucian about it that last time they were filing for it, though.
Yeah, well, I know that they were talking about it and thinking about it and trying to decide if they should, and I think they perhaps had said that they were going to, but I don't think that's been finalized yet.
Yeah.
I don't think they have their official 501c3 status, but I could be wrong, but that's my current understanding. But then they go on to talk to Lucian, or Doug Mesner, and has a quote from him that says, "We're going to have a very difficult time finding another use for this," said Temple co-founder and spokesperson Doug Mesner. He noted that artist Chris Andres made specific design accommodations to get the city's approval. Now it sits in storage. It's all at our loss. In a letter dated November 21, City Attorney Rob Voss disputed any basis for a cash settlement. He argued that the city's permitting process is not contractual, and even so, the Satanic Temple had accepted the $100 refund of its permit application fee. Mesner said his organization declined to cash the check. Now it's seeking a Twin Cities-based attorney to pursue legal action. Small-town saga over free speech began last January when someone complained about the installation of a 2-foot steel war memorial called Joe to honor fallen soldiers in Veterans Memorial Park. City leaders, fearing a lawsuit rooted in the constitutional separation of church and state, ordered the removal of the cross. Of course, that decision riled residents of the town. What were you going to say?
How fucked up is it that they remove it knowing that there could be a lawsuit based on the separation of church and state and that they're going to fucking lose?
Yeah.
If they would have thought, well, we can win this case, they would have fucking kept it and fought it. Be like, no, we're not going to win, so why waste the money on it?
Mm-hmm.
We know it's in violation.
Well, that decision riled residents of the town located about 45 miles southwest of Minneapolis. For nearly a month, flag-toting protesters occupied the park, often staking their own homemade crosses into the ground. Almost overnight, small wooden crosses popped up in business windows, on mailboxes, and in front lawns. To diffuse the turmoil, the city council designated a small area in the park as a limited public forum open to 10 or fewer temporary memorials to veterans. By April, the cross was restored. So they remove it knowing that they're going to be sued.
Yeah.
People complain, and so they put it back. But then the Satanic Temple steps in and says, okay, well, now we want ours.
Yeah.
And they say, okay, well, you can do that, approve the whole thing. And then right as it gets to the point where they're actually going to install it, they say, no, we're just going to shut the whole thing down.
Because it was like literally days away from the installation when they said, nope.
Yep. Yeah. They said, no, we're not going to do that anymore. And they removed the other memorial. And now you'll notice that Christians aren't nearly as upset that they removed the memorial because it's, well, we wanted our thing only there. Now we can't have only our thing, so I guess it's okay that they take it out. Yeah. That's fine.
Jesus is happier knowing we didn't let the Satans in.
I guess if we can't split the baby, we'll have no baby.
Yup. No baby.
Fantastic work as always from our friends at the Satanic Temple. That's why I am a proud member and encourage others to do the same and try to educate other people about religious pluralism and a strict separation between religion and government.
I like whipping out my Satanic Temple card once in a while to people.
You like to whip it out, do you?
Oh, yeah. I keep it right in my front pants pocket.
In your front pants pocket? What?
I don't know. I was trying to make
Why did you emphasize the word pants there?
Because
I whip it out from my front pants pocket.
Because I was trying to allude to whipping.
Pockets are just all tied up with, the whole butthole thing.
But it was the emphasis on the word.
Yeah.
Emphasis.
You're putting the emphasis on the wrong syllable.
I don't really syllable a lot, but
you're giving the British way too much ammunition.
Yeah, but I'm not a doctor.
That's true. The story concludes and says, though Mesner agrees the city council members had valid concerns about vandalism and civic unrest, he said they should have considered that before establishing the free speech zone. I think they were maybe taking the gamble that we wouldn't come through on producing our monument, and now I think they're maybe gambling that we won't file a lawsuit, Mesner said.
Exactly.
They would be wrong on both counts. Flax, the temple's attorney, wrote the city October 10 demanding damages, noting that the cross memorial had been displayed for 8 months, while the Satanic monument was not allowed even 1 day of public display. This constitutes discriminatory action favoring one religious group over another group, Flax wrote, alleging that the city violated state and federal law in the process. Belle Plaine is insured through the League of Minnesota Cities Insurance Trust. However, Claims manager Darren Richardson said his organization doesn't believe the Satanic Temple has a valid case.
Well, we'll find out.
We will. And I hope that they do have a valid case and that Bell Plane has to pay them $35,000 for the memorial. And then that it will sit in storage until it's needed somewhere else.
That'd be awesome, yeah.
I like all the stuff that they do.
Or we just start like a Patreon thing to buy it and we just put it in the front lawn.
Of my house?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Then we got to get I bet Baphomet's way more expensive.
The what?
Baphomet statue?
Oh, yeah.
He's probably a little pricier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your front lawn isn't that big.
It's a much larger monument for
No, but it'd be less to mow.
Well, there's you can put it back where the basketball court used to be.
Well,
yeah, but then the neighbors can't see it.
Oh, yeah, I should put it where but yeah.
Yeah, neighbors
I would
can't
want
see
people to come by and see it.
It's like our
Take
Christmas
pictures.
story.
It'd be like, yeah.
You get a prize, you got to show it off.
Everyone else has their Christmas homes.
That's
down
a major
here.
prize.
Yeah.
In Murray and Holiday, they have their Christmas homes. You'll have your Satanic Temple home.
Yes. Yes, and people from far and wide will drive down my road to look at it.
Like the guy with the zombie nativity scene who kept getting sued and harassed and vandalized, and apparently he's saying this might be the last year of it.
Oh, sad face.
Yeah, because I follow him. I follow the fucking words. I follow the zombie nativity scene group page on Facebook because he's got a page that he always posts stuff about around Christmas time.
Awesome.
Did you see that video of the live nativity scene with the kids?
Where the kids stole baby Jesus?
Where the two kids were bickering over baby Jesus and they kept kind of tearing it out of each other's hands.
No, where was this?
It was, I don't know, it was going around Facebook.
Yeah, it's like at a church or something.
It was
and
in
there's
a church.
Yeah.
And they were all like little kids. They were
they
like
could have been
3,
more than
4 or 5 years old. And they were, you couldn't hear what they were saying, but you could just see what they were doing. And two of the kids just started, one of the older kids like pulled baby Jesus out of the younger kid's hands, and she pulled it back.
Because it's when like there's like a really young girl dressed up as a sheep.
It might have been that. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's it. I think that's it.
At the First Baptist Church of White Pine. I gotta make this bigger. Somebody made a vertical video. Damn it.
Fuck. We live in a horizontal world, people. Turn your phones.
Sheep steals baby Jesus in church nativity scene.
It's all fucky.
Oh, it's all fucky. It's a terrible source. Vertical videos are terrible.
What's worse than vertical videos are the news organizations that do that shit on the edges with the fuzzy kind of overlay of the video. It's like, fuck
where
that.
it kind of mirrors what's in the video.
But it's all
on the
like
sides.
fuzzy and all,
She stole the baby Jesus, and now she's all proud and dancing with it.
Now the other kids are going to come up and try and take it back.
Give me baby Jesus back. No, it's my baby Jesus. Nice. That's pretty fucking adorable, though.
It's a little cute. But you know if a bunch of Satanists or atheists did that, you know they would be up in arms about the disrespect to the Lord and Savior.
Which is what happened to the
but they can
zombie
laugh.
nativity scene.
Yeah, but they can laugh because it's
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 cute.
cute. It's cute to disrespect Jesus.
It was a pretty fucking cute thing. Like,
It
it
was
was cute kids fighting over a
Fighting
baby.
over a baby doll.
I'm just betting
'Cause they
the
have
older.
no idea what it fucking means to begin with.
Well, that's why
Right,
I bet the
right.
older girl who's been through this before. This is her 3rd year in the nativity scene.
Oh, is it?
It's
Okay.
probably screaming at that little girl. Didn't you read the fucking script?
It's Jesus.
No,
you can't steal
I'm
Jesus.
2 years old. I don't know how to read.
Your fucking mom's a whore.
You can't steal Jesus. Last story that we have this evening comes to us from KUTV News here in Utah, local station.
Yeah, they're very enthusiastic.
I can't remember if it's Channel 2 or Channel 4. Which one of them has the for their nightly newscast or whenever. It's downtown. They have like a glass wall.
I think that's.
Oh, I got a bubble in my throat. Yeah, that's Channel 2 because you get.
Is that Channel 2?
You get homeless dancing in front of it in the morning.
Right on Main Street.
Yeah.
That's 2.
So when the American Atheist Convention was here, did you go on the bar crawl that we did?
Yeah, I was there. Oh yeah.
So we did the bar crawl, and this was when Sarah Mars was president of Atheists of Utah, and we had the American Atheist comes in, we have the convention and everything. And Sarah and the rest of the board members, myself included, but it was her brainchild that we do a bar crawl for one of the nights, during the time of the convention being in town. And she printed out these really cool, like, Mormon missionary name tags for everybody.
I remember that.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of drunken atheists wandering the streets of Salt Lake City at, around 10 o'clock when they're doing the nightly newscast. And we happened to stop, we walked past where they're recording the news that night. And we just kind of stood outside and watched and waved. And I didn't press pickle on the window or anything, but I got really close. I got really close and, waved and made some goofy movements or whatever. And as we're walking away, I started getting text messages from a bunch of my friends like, hey man, I just saw you on the news. What are you guys doing? Well, we're at a bar crawl. You should come and join us. It was a lot of fun. But anyway, so this comes to us from KUTV News, local news station here in Utah. It says the 6 Mormon families are suing the LDS Church over an alleged cover-up of child sex abuse.
The LDS Church is facing a lawsuit filed by multiple families accusing the church of covering up sexual abuse.
Yeah, these families claim the LDS Church leaders knew that one of its own members was abusing children but did nothing to report the crime.
Heidi Hatch joining us live with this exclusive story. Heidi?
Shauna, this case has been a decade in the making. It's heading to a West Virginia court 3 weeks from now. This all started with a 13-year-old boy accused and convicted of sexual assault right here in Utah. Flash forward a few years and he's yanked off his LDS mission when his new ward members in West Virginia come forward with new and very serious allegations.
My church family preached to me about forgiveness, that I needed to forgive him. How do you forgive something like that?
This mother says fellow church member and family babysitter Michael Jensen sexually abused her 4- and 6-year-old boys for 2 months back in 2008.
2- and 4-year-old boys?
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Eesh.
How do you forgive something like that? I don't think that I'll ever be able to forgive him.
Helen, who spoke to our Washington, D.C. sister station, asked that we only use her first name. She claims she reported the abuse to Jensen's mom, who was the Relief Society president, and the bishop in her LDS West Virginia ward.
Now, what she just said there is a little misleading. I want to make sure that everybody knows that a woman will never, ever be bishop of an LDS ward. Anywhere.
Talking about 2 different people.
Yeah, 2 different people. There's
punctuation matters.
Right.
There's a comma there.
Right. There's the
leader of the Relief Society.
Yeah.
And the ward president.
Right.
Right.
The ward bishop.
The bishop.
There are 2 different people. There's the Relief Society president, who is a woman, will always be a woman because they're the ones who need to provide relief and do the baking and the cooking and the cleaning and the making of casseroles and passing it out to grieving families and all of that kind of shit.
Sewing and ironing,
and then there's the bishop who actually leads the congregation.
What did they do about it?
They didn't do anything.
Now, Helen, along with 5 other families and 9 children, are suing the LDS Church. Their attorneys argue LDS Church members in West Virginia actively covered up the abuse, which continued for over 5 years, while Jensen continued to babysit families in their congregation.
Oh,
5 years, multiple families.
Because they didn't want to take it to authorities because he's a fine, upstanding Mormon person.
And you just need to forgive him. He prayed about
and
this.
His mom is the Relief Society president, don't you know?
So she ain't going to pass it on to the police. And she wasn't. Sometimes with religious organizations, they're not legally required to pass it on to the police.
Rather than getting little Timmy in trouble for being a sexual predator, I want to allow him to continue being a predator on more children, okay?
Well, I'm sure. I'm sure that the bishop counseled him. Given his most likely complete lack of experience in counseling or anything like that, because bishops are pulled from just a general rank.
Yeah, they're lay clergy. They have no specific training in anything.
They have no training. I mean, they're lawyers, they're car salesmen, they're restaurant owners.
They've given the most money to the church.
No training whatsoever. But, they're in there counseling little kids on whether or not you're touching yourself.
Yeah.
Or counseling this guy. I'm sure, I would bet that the bishop probably sat down and had a talk with this young man and said,
I know that you're curious, young man.
Don't you touch those young men anymore.
Yeah.
She says they didn't believe her.
I felt like if I couldn't even get these people that are supposed to have my family's best interest and welfare in mind to believe me, why would a jury believe what had happened?
Helen eventually alerted law enforcement after Jensen was indicted in 2012 for sexually abusing other children. The next year, Jensen was sentenced to up to 75 years in prison. The family's attorneys
up to 75 years in prison. They had a lot of evidence of a lot of predation from this guy. I mean,
how many charges is that for 75 years?
That's a lot.
Years in prison. The family's attorneys believe local LDS church leaders discussed the allegations of abuse by Jensen as early as 2007, and yet no one reported the abuse to law enforcement. The lawyers also claim church leaders in Utah knew Jensen was convicted of other sex-related crimes while living in Utah as early as 2004.
Oh, jeez. But we're not going to do anything about it because he said he's sorry.
2004.
That should be.
Yeah, and these are the people that supposedly have this moral authority and this high moral standard that they keep, and no, that's bullshit.
Yeah. This is one of those videos that as soon as I take my hand off of the button on the mouse,
plays.
it automatically plays.
What if you use that 10-second rewind thing?
Then it just back up 10 seconds and start playing.
Automatic. Oh, it's the same thing.
In Utah as early as 2004.
That should be on a record that you have somebody attending your church, while attending your church, was convicted of sexual assault of a minor.
The church provided a statement saying, in part, the church does not tolerate abuse of any kind.
Bullshit.
Which is bullshit! That's fucking bullshit. You can't tell me
BYU.
Yeah. Oh my God. They don't tolerate abuse of any kind? That's what they fucking teach people, is how to abuse other people.
And then tolerate it.
We take seriously our role as a recognized national leader in ensuring that child abuse prevention efforts are in place and followed as happened in this case.
No, because you don't fucking report child sexual abuse to the authorities when it comes to your fucking attention.
Yeah, if you had followed the laws as you say happened in this case, then they wouldn't be fucking suing you.
No.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't be convicted.
Right.
Their version of ensuring, quote, ensuring the child abuse prevention efforts are in place is internal counseling. Internal, it's all internal. No justice, no consequences. It's all internal counseling through their internal counseling center downtown.
Well, the consequences could be eternal, Grant, because he may not be able to enter the celestial kingdom unless he repents and says he's sorry and says that he's not going to touch little kids anymore.
They just don't want a black eye in the church, which is all they're fucking causing by not fucking reporting
it's
shit.
The same thing that we see with the Catholic Church.
All over.
They're more interested in protecting the church than they are with protecting the children.
Tonight, Helen is not ready to forgive. Instead, she wants justice.
This is the only way I know how to do it. The only way for his voice to be heard and my voice to be heard, and to force them to change their policies so that this doesn't happen again.
Fuck the policies. How about some goddamn consequences?
Yeah.
How about some goddamn justice from the people in the LDS Church who covered this up?
I mean, how about holding the people that were notified of this and didn't report to anybody else and let it continue happening also be fucking prosecuted?
Yeah.
As a party to the crime.
Yeah, for aiding and abetting a fucking child molester.
Yeah.
A church spokesman told me tonight they cannot specifically comment on pending litigation. We do have the church's full statement posted for you at KUTV.com. And while many of the documents in this case are sealed because there are so many juveniles involved, we do have some of those charging documents we placed on KUTV.com so you can get a better idea of what exactly this case is all about. Mark and Shauna.
I wonder if she's. I wonder if she's still Mormon. I bet she is.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if she. Because I mean, that's what you do. You rationalize it in your head. Yeah, there are bad people in my church, but my church is still good.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But how can she even think they're still good when they allowed it to keep fucking happening?
Because it's not.
Because those
God's
are flawed,
will. It's not
flawed
God's
human individuals.
will.
Yeah.
It's flawed people.
And it's flawed leaders of the church.
Yeah. But it's, people make mistakes. This was just a really big mistake.
Yeah. Yeah, fuck them.
Well, on that happy note, we shall. The show comes to a screeching halt in conclusion.
You should really send people away on a happy story. Come on.
Yeah. Well, just remember, when you fart, say bye-bye, Jesus.
I'm going to do that from now on.
Oh my God. I'm going to start doing that around
Bye,
my
Jesus.
kids.
Thanks for visiting.
I'm going to start doing that around my kids, see how long it takes them to say something.
Oh, Jesus, you need to shower.
You were in there a while.
But thank you all very much for tuning in this week. Before we go, I want to make sure that we thank our Patreon supporters. That would be Michelle Short, Christy Kalbach, Camille Borowski, Newmania, Alan Firth, Gaytheist, Larry Wilson, Dr. Dan Matt's boss from the 2SC podcast, to whom we pledge loyalty and find his whimsical trimming of our audio very whimsical. Janet Uter, Let Them Eat Kofefi, Stephen Andrus, Utah Outcasts, Marius Kotbrut-Chakowski, who recently edited his pledge from $1 to $2.
Thank you very much.
Thank
You're
you
really
very, very
awesome
much.
with pronouncing that name. That's...
Yeah.
I try, and I'm sure I'm still murdering it, but he says it's okay.
Okay.
Tim Jacobson, Matt Tuller, Megan Kennedy, Andrew Vodopich, Brandy Hamrick, Jeremy Goodson, Angelica Pearson, Wes Aaron, Purple Dragon.
Hey! Do what I can.
And Taylor Grin. Thank you all very much.
Yes.
We appreciate you all more than you know. Honestly, we really, really do. I know that there's been some concern over recent changes or recent proposed changes to Patreon that so far have been shut down because of the outpouring of voices that Patreon was willing to actually hear. Though when they released their apology statement, it sounded like, fuck, okay, we won't do it. Sorry, geez, guy. But they're not instituting the changes, which is good for now. We appreciate all of you for sticking with us through all of that and still being able and willing to pledge to the show. Like I said, we really do appreciate it. I never thought in a million years that we would have people who would actually give us money for.
Yeah, I figured we'd just have 10 people listening to it. I'm overwhelmed and humbled by your generosity for sure. And it really does help us. It helps us with hosting costs, for buying equipment, for upgrading things, for trying to make the show better for everybody. I really, really do appreciate it.
And eventually they'll learn how to plug it in right.
Hey.
It was one loose connection. You could hear in your other ear. Come on now.
Yeah. That's why Satan gave you two.
Complainer. Bring you over here and feed you food and shit and fucking complain about goddamn headphones. But seriously, thank you all very much. If you would also like to contribute to the show, we would greatly appreciate you doing so. You can do that by going to patreon.com/GodlessRebelution, and you can sign up to contribute as little as $1 per episode if you'd like. And something interesting that has come out of all of this Patreon stuff that I guess I was completely unaware of before or hadn't really thought of is that you can even pledge like $1 per episode, but then put a limit on that to say only charge me that once a month. So really, you could even just pledge like $1 a month if you wanted, the way things are set up now. And I thought that was interesting and fun. And Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, but that gives people more flexibility in what they
can afford
and are willing to part with. And I think that's awesome. So thank you all very much for everybody who does contribute to the show. Thank you very much to people who don't contribute monetarily, but continue sharing the show, commenting, joining our Facebook community of people who listen to the show, visiting our page, doing all of that kind of stuff, rating the show,
sending in stories.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to actually, while we're on that, I want to thank two individuals specifically who send us stuff all the time. And that's, Alan Firkinoff.
Yeah.
And, Riley Moore. Both send us stuff all the time. Thank you both so much for doing that. I know that we don't always use the stories that you send in, but I fucking love that you guys are doing that because it still gives me a lot more choice of things to talk about and to even think about while we're talking about other stuff. So thank you all very much for doing that. Continue doing so. I'm glad that you're enjoying the show and really, really appreciate all of your participation. Thank you very much for joining us again, Mr. Larimer.
Love doing it. Always.
I appreciate it. Love you, buddy.
Love you
Thanks
too.
so much for coming over, man.
I wonder how many times I've done this now.
A lot.
Oh, that's
we'll have to go back and count. I don't know.
Yeah.
Kind of curious.
You've probably been on here the most of any other extra hosts.
Oh, cool. I'm special.
Hosts.
I'm special. Yay.
You're super special.
Super special.
And so until next week, crucify that like button.
Leave a review to achieve nirvana.
And rate the show 5 times towards Alabama.
Nice.
I thought that might fit.
That's a good one. I like it.
You pull it out while it's still kind of juicy.
Oh.
Because I was supposed to have just woken up and I was gotten out of bed, so of course I'm not wearing shoes.
Oh, I thought you were just filming. I didn't know you were acting.
I was the one in front of the screen. Yeah.
In front of the camera?
Yeah, on the screen. Yeah, you know what I mean.
And then he posted these links, and I'm like, yeah, that's dumb. It's Galaxy Cake.
Yeah.